Hi, I'm Nancy Sasaki. I am the Executive Director of Alliance Healthcare Foundation.
Who would have known? Hi everyone, I'm Sylvia Barron. I'm the Program Officer at Alliance Healthcare Foundation.
The set looks a little different today. I think we look the same.
I think the set looks a little spooky.
Yes, there are ghosts and goblins and spiders and pumpkins and actually you look kind of different.
I know. I'm glad you noticed it. You know, once in a while I try to change my look, and I'm glad this time you did notice.
Hopefully we're not going to be too spooky today and just talk a little bit about some of the things that we're seeing happening out in the community and, you know, celebrate that Halloween is coming up.
Yep. It's all partying from here on to Thanksgiving and Christmas and
Partying?
partying.
We've got work to do, girl, and
well,
we'll talk
hey,
about.
We gotta mix it up pretty good. So yeah, we have a lot of
You
work
know,
to get done, and we'll talk about it today. But we'll also have a good time.
we do our best, don't we? We try.
Absolutely.
That's all they can
Very
ask, right? Hey, so today it was really interesting. I haven't had a chance to tell you about this, but today the County Health and Human Services, the director Nick Macchione, got a bunch of us together. Alliance Healthcare Foundation. I represented the Community Information Exchange, which is one of our grantees under the Innovation Initiative. 211 San Diego, John Ohanian, who's also one of our grantees under Mission Support, as well as the San Diego Health Connect, which is the HIE, the Health Information Exchange. We all got together and really began to talk about how we see a vision for San Diego, the San Diego region, to connect data and information. And we got to present that information to some consultants who are working with the Ford Foundation. Big, huge #2 foundation in the country.
I'll say.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But they were looking at how technology and how innovation is serving health needs of communities. And Nick was able to really promote the effort that we're doing here, and they've been here for 2 days now, and we got to talk about all of that kind of working together and collaboration and vision.
That's great.
That's so important for
and
our
that was
community.
today.
That was today. They were actually here yesterday with the Board of Supervisors, and they've been doing some touring. They're going to go and see Project 25, which is one of the homeless projects in downtown that's really doing a lot to reduce costs and better serve the homeless community, especially the 25 to 35 that are in the project. So it's really exciting.
And that's going pretty well, I hear.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely, yeah. So since we're still on the topic of homelessness, I'll just kind of smooth right into. Did you see that move?
Skate,
It's really scary how well I did that. Right?
That was very suave.
Yes, it was. Yes. Homelessness Working Group. I've been the interim chair of this group, which has been going on under the San Diego Grantmakers auspices, where a lot of the funders that are looking at how to fund best practices in homelessness have come together to learn and listen to the providers and find out what to fund, where to give the money, right? And we're at a transition point, and we've decided to join forces with the United Way and move the Homelessness Working Group to United Way and kind of join forces with their bigger, broader regional vision of how to end chronic homelessness in San Diego County. So we're moving over to the United Way under the leadership and guidance for facilitation of LaSar Development. LaSar Associates, Jennifer LaSar.
Yes, I know her very
And
well.
Doug Sawyer and Shana Gross and are all part of that as well from United Way. And they're still talking me into being the interim chair, but I really wanted to be interim chair to help with this transition, and then we'll see where the natural leadership comes from within the group. But it's a really good transition, I think, that we're making to be more kind of global.
It's really exciting. I've only participated in maybe a couple of those meetings, and my gosh, the energy and the commitment and on the same page that everyone's talking and everyone's sharing, and it was just very vibrant, very energetic.
Yeah.
I know they're moving fast, and they're securing their footing, and it's been going really well for what I hear.
Well, it really is going to take that kind of community effort if we really want to end homelessness, right? And it's a huge challenge. And part of that, at one of the homelessness meetings that I was at with the downtown was learning about the Downtown Partnerships pilot project. It was really exciting because what they did was, as we've talked about good collaboration, in parts of downtown, what they've done is the downtown partnership with their Clean and Safe program, along with the HOT team, which is the police, the homelessness outreach team of the San Diego Police Department, along with Connections Housing, and there's probably some, Alpha Project, right. So they targeted like these sections of the downtown area to go and meet people as they're trying to find their place to sleep and get them to get off the streets, get them to a shelter, get them to transitional beds, get them into permanent supportive housing, to get them to the veterans shelter. So they really were doing a great effort, and they've done it now in about, I think, 2 or 3 different places, and it's really helping. So it's exciting to see that some of this kind of collaborative effort can come together.
And it's so great to see the results so quickly. You know, it's just so encouraging that you don't have to wait for a long time to see how it's going. And you know, it's going good, because all the things that I read and that particular meetings that I've attended, it's really a positive outlook on it all.
Yeah, you know, but what I learned is that, you know, so when they're able to partner with Connections Housing, or to really partner with transitional housing and permanent supportive housing, it works really well. But when they start looking, like say in the East Village in downtown, there's no transitional housing, there's no permanent supportive housing in that area. So what are they going to do with the people that they're able to get off the street? All they have is the shelter. So that really highlights and points out some of the gaps and needs,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
That once we're out in the community, we can really learn more about that.
Well, it's good that it's getting identified.
Yeah.
That way they can start looking into how to resolve those gaps.
Yeah. And I know that there's so much more going on out there besides just the homelessness issues. So I know you're involved in a couple of things.
Yes, and you know, in the spirit of collaboration, you know, that's one of the things that we talk aloud in every time you and I have conversations, and every time that there's an opportunity, it's just so great to see how many organizations are collaborating and moving forward at joining either the resources or their staff or scaling something that was working for them. And one of these that I want to talk about is the Resident Leadership Academy. And I remember, Nancy, it's probably a year since today is the event for CHIP, for the Community Health Improvement Partners Rendezvous, that I heard about this particular program at the presentation at that particular gala a year ago. It didn't ring a bell, didn't say anything to me. And coincidentally, just recently, one of the organizations, actually one of our grantees, has implemented that program. And for the first time, you know, I looked into it. I had the opportunity to look at the curricula, see how it's comprised, how they reach the community with it, and it is just an outstanding collaboration between the County of San Diego Human and Health Services and Bayside and other organizations. But it's a program that again has been already implemented, and I'll tell you a little bit about how it works. It's been in Oceanside, Southeast San Diego, National City, Lemon Grove, and it's got the model of the Promotores program, but not in the census where you train the promotores and then they go and impart this knowledge to, you know, their community members. No, this is heavy duty stuff in the way of actually identifying the social issues in your community, going out, walking your community. Look at the sidewalks, look at the transportation, look at the environment, look at the lack of supermarkets. I'm talking about the whole big picture. Then come together and study the issue by a facilitator, and the curricula that they use. And may I say that I don't know if it's in English, but I know that it's in Spanish. It's an excellent material that they put together. So these people come together, they learned about the subject from A to Z, and then they take action. So it's civic engagement and advocacy at its core. I mean, these are people that, regardless whether they speak English, regardless how long they've been here, how new they're in the community, they're literally getting engaged and learning, and are going out there and speaking up for themselves in their community. So seems like they have pretty good support from the various sources and continuing. I think I heard some federal innovation dollars are coming to scale it even more so.
Awesome.
So it was just great to see the outcome. I don't know, maybe like 25, 30 people per meeting. And they go there regularly. I mean, it's not a one-shot thing. It's a commitment. It's just wonderful to see that much success
Mhm,
in
mhm.
joint projects, joint collaborations.
Wow, it's
Yeah.
so great. It's so good to see like how different parts of our community come together. Some that you would not necessarily even expect, right? Like the county CHIP and Bayside Community
Exactly.
Center, right? So
Exactly.
it's really exciting.
Yes.
Definitely.
It's all about the collaboration.
So before you move on, I was so excited about just jumping into what we were talking about. I forgot like the really important stuff. Well, not the really important stuff, but
Part of the important stuff.
the kind of the logistical stuff that I'm supposed to do, and that is that you're supposed to write us and ask us a question. So if you could on Twitter at Alliance HF, post a question, see if you can stump either Sylvia and I. Since the ghostly spirits are around, I'm sure that we could be easily stumped. But definitely ask us a question on Twitter. You can always connect with us by liking us on Facebook, connect on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter. That Pinterest thing, you got to pin us on, but don't poke too hard. But pin us on Pinterest.
Go easy.
We've got a YouTube channel. I mean, we're out there. So if you want to find out more about what we're talking about here, or want to just listen to us again because it's so awesome, that's all the places that you can find us. But definitely, for right now, ask us your questions at Alliance HF on Twitter. Okay, what else is going on?
Well, Imperial, another, of our second county, and the one, that we also have quite a few grantees out there. And again, in the spirit of collaboration, there's this whole movement from various organizations, governmental, nonprofits, binational organizations, and certainly community members in keeping tabs on the environment. You know that the issue of respiratory diseases in Imperial County is way high. It's become an issue that everyone is a stakeholder at, and as a stakeholder, everyone is watching out for it. And we just are looking at I think it's the 5th annual Environmental Justice Summit, and that's a great. I've attended at least 3 of them, and it's a meeting where you have people from the state of California. I'm talking people from the Environmental Protection Agency, assembly people, elected officials that are come exclusively from Sacramento to do this summit. But the most important part that I think is how the community members go up to the mic, regardless of their social status, their language limitations, you name it. And they speak up in front of these government officials and let them know what it is in their neighborhood that they have been experiencing and how it's impacting their health and their children's. So, and they've gotten some real action. I mean, some great things have happened in Imperial County. We are not there, still have a long ways to go, but just to see this much engagement and this type of collaboration, it's just great to see.
Yeah. I think we talked about at one of our shows that they actually have a website that they can go and look and see what are the latest like environmental health issues that are happening, like real time, right? The community's posting.
And I was so proud to tell someone from Imperial actually this information last week, because they said, there's this thing happening and the fields are very close to our house, and who's watching out for us, the border patrol drives up and down and the dust is up, and the kids get affected that are playing out on the street in front of their homes. And I said, did you visit the Ivan, and you can report? It's there, it's live, it'll tell you when it got action taken. Just make sure you get this word around. Anybody can make a report on anything that's an environmental hazard or that they have a concern about, and action is taken immediately.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
Next week, when the San Diego Grantmakers annual conference is happening at the new library, you and I will be there, but you're going to get to stay the whole time. I'm going to head out to Imperial because of the asthma stop and listen project that they do, and it's really fun because last year when we went, it was really exciting. It's students that actually go and they research asthma and they find out about the disease, and they find out, and what they do is they try to like project, what would I do to help impact this in a positive way, and they come up with their ideas, and there are winners, and hopefully some of those ideas get implemented. Even something as simple as having a flag system to let us know when the air quality is good or bad or maybe iffy, right? That so the schools will know whether or not to send students out into the yards to play, right?
Exactly.
So I'm going to be going out there next week and learning more about what they're coming up with this year on the asthma issue.
That's going to be fun.
It will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, they have great ideas.
Absolutely.
And some of these kids, as I know, are kids that are impacted by asthma issues and have been hospitalized. So they have a real stake at the resolving.
Well, that was what was really so interesting, was that these kids ranged from the kids that have it and are dealing with it to kids that were saying, I had no idea asthma was this big of a deal in my community, right? So it was great to see that, how they could learn more even though they live with it, and how they could learn anything because they'd never heard of it, so to educate these young people, about what's going on in their community is always good to see.
Takes a village.
It takes a village, that's for sure. Well, this, don't forget questions. I see no questions. At Alliance HF on Twitter, you can ask us any questions about any of these topics, or maybe one we're not talking about. But I was really, when we were developing the agenda, I was really struck by a conversation that you and I had. I know that one of the roles that you play is going out and meeting with our grantees and the leadership and finding out what's going on. And I was just really struck that in the refugee community, that you're hearing, that there's depression and there's teen suicide. Yes. And tell me a little bit more about what you heard.
It's a concern, for some reason, especially with the immigrant communities, being that many of them are so recent in the country. A lot of the issues that that we're so aware of here, it's not the case with them, because they're just trying to understand, a whole new way of life here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, there was, in talking with one of the community leaders, there is this real concern about some issues that have surfaced out about the teen suicide and teen depression within their community. It's difficult to actually go out there and seek help, because it's a culture that's got to be respected in how they do things. And luckily, the community leaders that are from within the community are taking the steps that are appropriate to get them out to get the help and create awareness, whether that means having classes, having small groups, having outreach health workers or mental health professionals visit the household in a respectful and language appropriate and cultural appropriate way. That's the steps that they're taking. Surprisingly to me, it was very shocking to me, mm-hmm. but also shocking to the people that I was talking about it, because again, it's just one of those things that it's not in your radar. It's something that mm-hmm. happens somewhere else to someone else's family, not within your community. But again, they're taking action, they're taking steps, and so I think they're going to find the right resources and to address the issue.
I think that it kind of speaks to several different things for me, and that is that depression and mental health issues really don't know economic boundaries or geographic boundaries or cultural boundaries, and so they happen everywhere. I think that for us to hear that it's happening in the refugee community shouldn't be surprising, but it is surprising. I think it's great that we have resources in our community Absolutely. That can be accessed, that we can use. But I was also thinking about it in terms of, I believe that as we move into this holiday season, between now the Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, that actually mental health issues rise more. They escalate during this time frame. Yes. And I guess I'd say to people, be aware of who the people are in your lives and what they might be dealing with, because sometimes it's a surprise. You just don't know.
And if I may add, Nancy, I think it's one of those things that it slowly started in creating awareness around, for the community. People started talking about it, but now when you listen to the media and how open they are and the kinds of spots that they run, I'm really glad that they're doing it, because I listen to stories, of people who haven't seen their family for 20 years, or someone that knew that they were going to have a child born and they haven't met that child, and that child's already 10 years old. So you can imagine there's all sorts of issues, but just being aware of where their family's coming from, what they've gone through, and looking for the symptoms and trying to ask questions to see if anybody can help them, and identify to see if there's an issue that you may be able to intervene.
I think it's one of those hard ones, though, that you care so much about a person, but there are stigmas. I mean, we have to admit that there are stigmas about it, and how you get past that and just make it better for the person, because we love and care for them.
And I think all this information that is being out there, put out by the media, is exactly for that, to do away with the stigma. And I think it's working. We're not there necessarily, but it's working. It's working. Last night in one of that community meeting, that was one of the things that came up: mental health, and why in the open. So, no questions yet.
Still no question. But we're not there yet.
Okay.
Did y'all see how this pink bottle very spookily appeared all of a sudden? Yeah.
You're going to see it fly through the room now.
Oh my. Okay. Anyway, there is some really good stuff happening also. You want to talk about mission support applications?
Yes. That is the best thing towards the end of the year, is the opening of the mission support application, which is the most popular grant at Alliance. Definitely. It came online on October 10th, and it closes on November 15th, so make sure you don't miss the deadline. It's a very simple application online. We're still here for support. If you should have any glitches or have any questions, we'll be very happy to help, and wish the best of luck. We had 103 applicants last year, and we're going to see how many more or how many less come around this year, but I think it's going to be more.
Well, it's not always about how many we get, but it's really about wanting to get money to those organizations that are having impact, they're making a difference in people's lives, and advancing health and wellness, aligning with our mission, right?
Absolutely.
But that is one of the questions. Does it help to get a grant? Does it help to get a grant if they meet with either one of us first?
No.
Well, that was kind of quick. You want to explain a little more?
Well, we certainly have, again, our mission is advancing health and wellness. It has to be a 501c3. We'd certainly love to hear about everyone's programs, learn about everyone's organization. I think we know a lot of what's going on in the community. We are here as a resource if they need information or they just need some clarification on something. And again, if the applicant, the thing is that a lot of the organizations, the application is great, and I get that question quite a bit. What can I do to improve the application? Not necessarily anybody did anything wrong to not get their application funded, but it's a complex way in the way that these applications are evaluated, and I do take the time to let everybody know what it is.
Yeah.
And
I think, it's not that meeting with us doesn't help. It certainly does help for us to get to know what's happening in the community and what the needs are. But we don't make any of the decisions. So in that way, it doesn't really help to meet with us beforehand. But definitely would love to learn more about what you're doing. So again, you know how you can do that? You can like us on Facebook. You can connect on LinkedIn. You can follow us on Twitter. You can ask a question at Alliance HF. And you can pin us on Pinterest or connect with our YouTube channel. There's so many ways to get in touch with us and learn about what we're doing and find out what's happening. And you and I are always posting stuff. Well, not always you, but with pictures and stuff.
And when I do it wrong.
Picture. So we try to show y'all what all we're learning and where all we're going out in the community. And that was one of the other questions: is how the heck do we get so many places in any one month or whatever? There's a lot going on this month.
There is absolutely. October from day one is packed to the very, very end, and there's just a lot going on. Just goes to show everything that's happening out in the community. It's great.
Yeah. And Sylvia and I do try to get out there and get to your events and talk with you and find out what's going on and support your organizations, but recognize that we can't be everywhere, and we do try to pick and choose based on our schedules and what we have available and what we have open. open, but we definitely want to learn from you and find out what you're doing and do what we can to support you. So again, you can like us on Facebook, connect with us on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter, pin us on Pinterest, check out our YouTube channel, and always ask us questions at Alliance HF. We also have email. Remember email?
Absolutely.
You can also email
we're one
us.
email away or phone call away. We're a resource. We'll be happy to help and answer any questions that we can.
Yep. So, hey everybody, happy Halloween.
Trick or treat.
Have a
Bye-bye,
safe
everyone.
holiday. Bye.